Stetson Bennett, the fourth's career, you could basically say last night's game was the perfect embodiment of it, right?
For real.
Because it came out of the gate, walking on. Then he had to leave to go to junior college, and he comes back, and he somehow, some way is the one that, picks things up once Justin Fields hits the road and Fromm gets the run there, and then he finally gets a start eventually.
JT Daniels gets hurt.
And then all sorts of stuff happens. And then he turns into one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the school. So last night's game, perfect embodiment of it. He gets it, he starts, and he drops the football. And I'm sitting at home myself. I'm like, how come he couldn't do that against Michigan? Where was this guy? Where is this guy who was short-arming throws and bouncing it and dropping footballs as he's running for a first down that it looked like he was clear to have? And then that Georgia defense picks it up, don't they? Those Bulldogs know how to play some football on the defensive end, don't they? Well, they also have like 900-pound guys who can move like they weigh 9 pounds up front, and then they'll put them in blocking when they need their first touchdown of the game on the 1 yard line. Did you see Jordan Davis come in and play left tackle in that one for an unbalanced line? I'd say he puts the unbalanced lines, that guy.
I think you're right about that.
And then I'm sorry, the name just flew out of my head. The other kid who plays next to him, he was the fullback blocking.
Yeah, number 95. I don't know his name either. Gigantic dude.
Nakobe Dean, I know him. I want him to play for the Jets. I'm just saying these things now. I don't care.
You do want him on the Jets.
I want him on the Jets in the worst way. Because I don't see he flies. His hat flies everywhere, man. And then there was that one play on the goal line last night where he was trying to cover Latu, right? And
Devontae Wyatt, number 95.
Yeah, okay. But he's trying to cover the tight end on Alabama, and he's got to go. He's being. The play is meant for him to run into his own guy, but you're supposed to communicate on defense so that doesn't happen. And the ball hit Alabama's receiver and popped up in the air. And actually is almost an interception for Georgia. Yep. And then he went right in his teammate's face, and he was just barking at him like all dogs bark. Like, do your job, get out of my way, let me do my thing. Right. And did you see what his teammate did?
On the next play?
No, not the next play. At that moment, his teammate was like, I got it. Didn't bark back at him. It's just like, okay, yeah, I just love the way they play defense.
And then on the next play, he got a sack.
Oh, man. And they kept it a field goal game. They took the lead and then lost the lead. And I got to tell you, I thought that game was over when Stetson Bennett was ruled to have fumbled it, and the Alabama defender who recovered what looked to everybody on the field as an incomplete pass, as a thrown football, because his arm was coming forward as the ball came out and flew out, and he just nonchalantly picked the ball up as he was running out of bounds, not knowing that he needed to keep his feet in bounds because that was actually a fumble and thus an actual fumble recovery. I thought when that came through replay and I saw the replay of the recovery, in quotes, and the fumble, in quotes, and I'm not just saying that because I don't think it was, that's what it was called, and I saw that replay look like nothing definitive to overrule the ruling on the field, that they were going to stick with the ruling on the field and give Alabama a short field. Chris, I got to tell you, I thought that was a wrap. I thought that was Alabama getting Alabama things to happen when Alabama things weren't happening on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I agree with you, man.
I thought that was a wrap. I thought it was over. Yeah. But, man, Stetson Bennett, the fourth. And he sounds like a guy who, whose family ran Yellowstone, right? And he is going to run a hedge fund that none of us are going to be allowed into one day. He can play football.
He's got some stones, man.
He can play.
He's got some moxie.
Looks like Timothy Chalamet and
Good one.
cleats.
Good one, yeah.
He can sling it. He can drop it in buckets, and he can just take the hits. And towards the end of the game, the guy was dropping the football to start. He was confident to let everyone know, oh, no, I was hit in the face. That's a touchdown. That flag's not on us. No, I got hit in the face. I just made that perfect throw and perfect execution while getting walloped by future first-round draft choices. And I love the fact that he was crying. Damn straight he should cry. Damn straight he should start weeping when he realized it was his moment of victory, with his team's moments of victory and his coach's moment of victory against the mentor who had his number. And it's just all sorts of amazing for Georgia fans. Congratulations. That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. And sure enough, Chris, we said yesterday leaving, what's going to be the more feasible storyline we're talking about today? Is it going to be Alabama still has Georgia's number, or that loss to Alabama is what Georgia needed? That loss to Alabama is kind of what they needed. It was kind of like hit them in the face. Yeah. Your defense is all-time great, but guess what? You can get got with the right scheme and the right quarterback and the right coaches going to scheme and play against you, and the right skilled players. Unfortunately for Alabama, they lost their best receiver in the middle of the game. But Alabama is supposed to. You know what? If there's any school, I almost said organization, which they are. Let's be honest. If there's any organization or school for which and whom I just cannot countenance but they didn't have their best player, it's Alabama, who should have 7 of your best players on their depth chart, 1 through 7.
Right.
Next man up. Yeah, you know what? They recruit next man up. They could win championships with next men up.
Yeah, the backups are 5 stars.
Please, I don't want to hear it.
So.
I don't want to hear it. The fourth to next man up, they could actually win championships with there in Alabama. That's the way they recruit. And they tell kids, you'll have to work your way in. And Georgia has similar setup there. That's what I heard when my team got spanked by them, that they had 45-star recruits and my team had 7. And thus, it's kind of neat and cool that all of those 5-star recruits and all of those kids that just can play on Sundays soon, that all of those guys were led by a walk-on who had to go to junior college to come back and prove himself.
Right.
It's kind of cool that in the middle of all this NIL transfer portal craziness, it's still a guy named Stetson Bennett IV who had to bet on himself and believe in himself and play above what you would think he can do. And what he did was smoke a cigar like Joe Burrow walking off the field, picking confetti out of his Timothy Chalamet lid, getting ready to count his hedge fund money. He's an economics major, by the way.
Yeah.
So.
And he's got a great hedge fund name.
It's it.
Obviously.
Stetson Bennett has thousands of dollars in AMC stock right now. You know it.
NFT,
Don't you think?
NFTs.
Let me tell you something.
He might have $1 million in NFTs.
Let me tell you something. When you want to put your 401k in somebody's hands and you walk into the corner office of Stetson Bennett IV and you see all those photographs of championship days in Georgia behind him.
That's what I'm going to.
You're saying, here's my nest egg, sir.
Take it.
You grow it like you did for the Georgia Bulldogs in 2021.
Take it and don't think twice.
That's it.
I have no doubt that Stetson Bennett will be running for president somewhere in the time of the 40s.
Stetson Bennett.
I'm not sure if he's going to win, but
Thurston Howell III and Stetson Bennett IV. What a name! It's funny. Cooper's watching the game. He turns to me, and I texted you guys.
I know.
In the real time, he turns to me. Coop turns to me, and he goes, "Dad, who names their kid Stetson?" "Quote unquote." So I sent that. I'm like, okay, I will send it to the comedian / Georgia Bulldog fan, and I'll let that one marinate. And she said, tell him it's a cowboy because Stetson's a cowboy hat.
Nice.
That's what the answer was. And then 2 hours later, I got an all caps, a much more, I think, probably bourbon infused all caps tweet. Does he still wonder why his name is Stetson? Who names their children Stetson?
Was this a tweet or a text?
It was all text.
Text. All caps.
All text, man. All caps.
See, that's
Cooper
trolling
still wants
right
to know why his name is Stetson. All caps. Because she was like, I've got a national championship quarterback named Stetson Bennett IV. Congratulations to Georgia. That was really
Congratulations,
neat
man. Awesome.
stuff to see
Very fun.
on a college gridiron last night. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.